Hello everyone, this is the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Ron.
And today we have Carol. She's our special guest and she'll be joining us in conversation. So hang tight and we'll be right back with you.
Busy in where the last one burned you. Know that ain't cool. Wanna show you how I'm nothing like him. Swear that's the truth. So you can't trust that I'm wrong.
Alright guys, we're back. And like I said, we have a special guest in house with us. Her name is Carol. Can you let everybody know a little bit about yourself?
Sure, thank you. My name is Carol Chastang. I'm a friend of Tiffany Clements and Ron Johnson's. And yours now. We met today.
Yes, we did.
I overheard the conversation about Insecure, and I said, that sounds like a lot of fun. And Tiffany invited me graciously, so thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to this, and again, thank you.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. Definitely.
I'm happy to have her. She's a dear friend, and she's an amazing writer, so we want to hear her perspective.
Yes, and this is going to be a good one. Like I said, we're talking about Insecure 6 and 7. Those episodes were titled Hella Blows and Hella Disrespectful.
And it's going to be pretty disrespectful around here. It's 3 against 1. So you fellas start commenting very quickly. I need help.
Ron calling it reinforcement.
In more ways than one, because Ron is a little square, so we have to get him together.
No, she didn't.
She did. Okay, well, let's start off talking about episode 6, Hella Blows. Issa, she's a trip, you know, she's really trying to get her whole face together, and I think right now she has 3 guys in her lineup. She has Daniel, of course. Then there's the guy that she met on Tinder, Nico, and then there's the guy that lives in her complex.
Hammerhead.
Yeah, he's not cute.
No.
His name is Eddie.
Apartment Bay.
Apartment Bay.
Uh-huh.
And so,
He's losing his apartment back.
The eviction notice on the door.
Yeah, Hammerhead.
Taped on the door.
So let's talk a little bit about Eddie, because Issa shows up unannounced to this man's house. And she gave herself the little pep talk. She was getting ready, talking about how she was going to put it on him and he better fall in line. And she shows up and is let down. He got another
She was
girl
put
in
in place. That's what that is.
She
You
was.
don't show up at a brother's house like that unannounced, like you gonna what? I mean, first of all.
Or a sister's house. We don't appreciate it either.
Okay,
Right.
well,
Right.
yeah,
Pop-ups
brother,
are
sister.
on either end.
And you know, she ain't that fine.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
I'm just saying, I just throw that in there just for, you know.
Now, he had someone in there, already, and I didn't understand that, because from what I saw with he and Issa, their love scene looked whack, so he doesn't look like he has a lot of game anyway, so I don't understand the other chick being in there, but anyway.
Well, like Issa. So you see, there are more Issas in the world than we think sometimes, I suppose.
Well,
Just a summation, I don't know. I mean, what can we say?
The thing that really tripped me out with Issa is because she's trying to have her whole phase, but she doesn't expect for any of the other guys that she's dealing with to have their little things on the side.
Right.
And I'm like, that is not realistic.
So, is Issa a hoe?
She's not a hoe. She's trying hard to be a hoe, but you see it's not working out for her.
Okay, but you're not born a hoe. You got to start from someplace.
She's not a hoe.
So what? So
she's not a hoe.
If
She's
a brother
awkward.
if a brother was doing the same thing, exactly the same thing that she's doing now, would he be a hoe?
But you know what? She broke up with Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
How much time has that been? It hasn't been much time.
Right.
She's still healing from this. She hasn't figured out where she wants to go, and she's looking for something.
Yeah.
And when people are behaving in ways that look kind of whack or whatever, it's not like you say a hoe. That's not it. She's searching for something. She's searching for herself. She's searching for healing. And she's thinking it's out there.
And
Yep.
what
Somehow out there, some man, some adventure,
and
some distraction, a lot of distraction. And that's another way of, some people will drink or do whatever.
It's a way to cope.
And she's got to,
and most of you eat.
or whatever, whatever. But
I'm just saying,
this is how
most
she's,
women, when you're getting over a
everybody's not the
situation,
same.
I agree.
Right.
Look,
Because
anything I say is never 100% because we know that there's no such thing as 100%. So, but my point is, every woman I've known that I've even dealt with that have had recent breakups, they choose to eat. They choose to sit at home and watch TV or
But we
gorge
don't
themselves
respond.
in ice cream. But she decides to take the whole ride and hopes that she can get over her pain by screwing. Now, okay, you say that's not a whore, but you also say to me
that's kind of a judgmental statement too.
It is a judgmental statement.
But
that's why we said Ron is a square.
It's a judgment. Okay, I'm a square. But we just had a conversation earlier, and you asked me earlier, what would you call a man? You said society says that men aren't whores when they are doing exactly the same thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Issa isn't actually getting a whole lot.
Well,
She's failing miserably at this. She's trying to have these sexual connections without emotions.
Men try to have those same sexual connections. They don't hit every time. I mean, it'd be like a 1 in 5 chance.
To you guys, though. You guys can compartmentalize your feelings and stuff. You guys can have sex with women and not have feelings.
Y'all, that's another discussion.
So
we're not talking about feelings right now. We're talking about a woman who absolutely doesn't want to involve feelings in what she's doing.
Right.
She wants to just get the...
Right.
Men just want to get the... So what's the difference?
She's
what
trying
you're doing
to be this person. That's not really who she is.
Well,
that's not really who she is.
Half the time that men are doing it isn't who they really are. It's just something that they're performing. Now, of course, you all look at it like, oh, he's just a hoe. Or this is what men do. But men...
Something that they want to do. It's not something that they're practicing to do.
She's forced to do it? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that...
Is it not something she wants to do?
She's trying to do.
Well, okay.
But men like you guys want to do.
But we still try.
I think the motive is the basis of this.
There you go.
And
because
the motive is what?
A man, he's just going to do what he wants to do regardless. If he's acting on an impulse or if it's just the right time of the day, it might happen.
And she's not doing the same thing.
No, Issa has a clear motive. She's trying to get over her pain. But look, she's been in a 5-year relationship. She ain't been in the game in a long time.
There you go.
Y'all gotta help me with this one.
No, that's real. Because when you've been in a relationship for a long time and you come out and you start dating and stuff, your mindset is different. And to go from being in a monogamous relationship and going back into the single life, so she's trying to learn the ropes.
And it's a lot of pain there. And it's the same on Lawrence's side because he's doing what he's doing out of pain as well. He's hurting and he's having threesomes and messing around with Keisha and Tasha.
Okay, I can't speak on the threesome. That was not something that, okay, if you call me square, you're right, because I'm not going to go out and have a...
But was not his threesome out of his hurt?
That wasn't really, that was out of character. That was out of character.
No, it was well out of character for him, and I don't think it was so much out of hurt. I think it was more man pride type thing. I think, you know, you're approached by two reasonably attractive women, and they want to have sex with you, and the first thing you do is you go, hey, I'm a man. This is what I'm supposed to do.
But you know what? There was a scene in, I think, a previous episode where the 3 women are talking about applauding all of their career advances, all their successes. And Issa and she really had nothing to say. She's feeling challenged at her job, her car accidents. Her life is kind of imploding. And so a lot of women thinking that, well, I'm going to have sex with this man because this man is going to give me a lot of energy, a lot of attention, a lot of praise. He's going to tell me I'm beautiful, I'm fabulous. And she needs to hear that right now. But she's not getting it from her environment. She's not getting it from anywhere.
But we know that that's not what she says she's after. She's said it so many times what she's after.
But still, her behavior...
I must give it to women. You all are masterful at being able to draw conclusions when there are definite similarities. You tend to find the emotional side for women, and you hang on it the way you do, and you turn a very similar situation into something entirely different altogether. I applaud you all for doing that because it's a wonderful
thing. You guys are
thing.
masterful at not getting it.
Thank you.
Because you don't
just
give it to
just shows that you don't get it.
Okay, but you explain to me. Now, here's a woman that has said what she's looking for, and only what she's looking for. But you say because she's hurt, she's saying that because she's hurt.
Because sometimes
men do the
that's
same
what we
thing.
say, and we say that out loud, but that's not what we really mean.
We do the same thing, guys. Come on, we do the same thing. You know what? You look at it in a fashion that society tells you to look at us as male whores, as that all we want is sex, and that's what we go after. It's like that's our first and second priority when looking at a woman. Sex. I'm here to tell you that that's not exactly true. Now, hey, slow up. There are guys that do that. Yes, I know a few. But I know more guys that would not go out and whore just because they broke up with their girlfriend.
And there's plenty of women that would do the same.
I
You
agree.
can't speak for everybody.
Which is why I'm calling
overgeneralized.
this one a whore, because
she's not.
well, let me
she's
put it this
not
way.
a whore.
I've had a lot. I've known, and I have had in my relationships a lot of women that have had broke up, so they had broke up with their boyfriends or husbands or whatever, but they didn't go out and do.
Well, that's them. Right. And all women are not going to behave the same way.
Mm-hmm. As we can see.
I know when I was getting a divorce, I acted out of character, and that wasn't typical for me.
You weren't.
But
Issa.
I acted out of character.
Okay, but my point is what Issa is trying to do. There are many things that she can do, and she chooses this avenue.
Well, I think, but to piggyback off of what Carol said, and just looking at the episode where she's in the mirror giving herself these pep talks, she's lost her self-esteem, and she's trying to regain it. And so she thinks by getting these conquests that she can regain a piece of herself and say, I feel good about myself. I'm able to be with any man I want to, and I'm out here getting it. But Issa is an awkward girl. She's awkward. She doesn't get that. And so her irrationalizations are just like seeping through all of her relationships.
Right.
She's so irrational in what she's doing and acting so out of character to the point where it shows.
Yes.
And I know that you like to say that this makes no sense to you and you can't relate. And heck, I can't relate with Issa because I wouldn't, like I told you, I wouldn't do that myself.
But all women are not.
That's
right.
I
She's
keep
awkward
saying,
as
we never
heck.
have to say all, because as I said before, nothing is 100%, so all women don't do anything. All women, you can't say all. We're just talking about Issa. We're talking about Issa, and what I'm trying to do is draw a comparison to what Issa is doing and those actual hoes out there. Now, help me out, and explain to me what a real hoe is and what a Issa hoe is.
But
Ron,
It's the
is
same-
being a hoe a bad thing?
It can be. I mean, it depends on. Look.
Is that person horrible because they are?
If you are, if you, whoring to me is like lying. Okay, do you lie for personal gain, or do you lie to not harm somebody? So you know something, but you don't want to say it, or you don't want to tell the truth because you don't want to hurt their feelings or something to that effect. One is more on the emotional side. The other one is like, I don't give a rat's. I'm going to do what I want to do, and I don't care who I hurt. For instance, Daniel with Issa. In that scene where she BJ's Issa, Daniel, Issa BJ's, goes down on him, and
I can't say the word.
yeah, I could, but
Blowjob.
okay, just
Ron trying to keep it PG-13.
PG-13.
Okay, y'all want to say blowjob? We
Yes.
know that. Let's blow.
Yay, thank you.
Okay, Daniel gets a wonderful blowjob from Issa. So where she picked them skills up, Daniel was like, oh.
She went to the sexplosion.
Mm-hmm. And Tiffany was out there
Schooling
them.
Also, but maybe she's done it before.
Okay.
She said
This is like the
just
first
said-
time she's ever
Okay,
done
She
it.
so-
said she wasn't good at it, but
Right.
they
Apparently
did
she
go. But they
was.
did go to a
And
class,
she's a
the
quick study.
sexplosion
And
stuff.
she's a quick study.
And
Okay, so hey, I know, I know you all have these brilliant minds. However,
So
she gets, a little explosion in her left eye.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. And she was hot. She was hot and bothered.
she was mad as heck.
She went
Yeah,
to
she
Daniel's
was.
house to screw, to give him a blowjob, and just because he shows his enthusiasm by giving her,
Surprise facial.
She overreacted.
She did overreact.
She
Yeah,
overreacted.
she did. And just to go off of that, like, honestly, Issa should have never done that, especially off of what Tiffany told her in the beginning. Tiffany said, this is how I got my ring. This is how I made such and such go crazy over me.
Right.
So if she's not in it with the intent of having Daniel on her like that, then why do it? Yeah.
That's my point.
Because she don't
And that's
want
my
Daniel
point.
like that.
And that's my
Right.
point between a whore and someone who is
I think she was
reacting
just
or
trying to get
acting
this to
out.
control. She liked the power of the
Yeah.
situation.
But of course, she wants to manipulate, and that's what she was told would happen if you go down. If you give a guy a blowjob, I'm not.
You got him in the palm of your hand.
Right. So see, y'all know.
Literally.
We both laughed. We both looking at him like,
Hey, look.
Hey,
No,
keep
look.
talking.
No, I'm good. Y'all go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm good. I'm through.
Yeah, Issa, she overreacted.
Yeah, she did.
clearly overreacted.
Yeah.
And went off on him and stuff, and and I think it was her fault that it
I think
happened
so
the way it
too.
happened.
But you know, piggybacking off that topic though, because Tiffany said that of a lot of black women that they don't do those things. That's left up to the white community, and that's what the white girls do, and that's how all of them are married, and
which is not true.
Not
Absolutely
true at all.
not.
Right. And so I think that on her part, she probably, you know, there has been mention of Tiffany having issues with Derek in the past, but she likes to put on like her relationship is like so perfect.
Tiffany's very shallow.
Yes, she is.
Very shallow, and I think Issa has a lot more depth
She does.
to her, which is this whole phase. This is a part of her struggle. Because I think with any human being, when you're going through something, it may look like everything in your life is jacked up, but you're growing. And the one thing she's doing, she's not given up. She's challenged the principle about that racist attitude. You know, she's trying to, even doing the blowjob that was her effort to like, okay, let me try something different. Do something that I don't normally do, because my life is a mess and I have to take a step out of my comfort zone, do something different to grow, to get to where I want to be.
Right.
And she doesn't even know where that is yet. Hence all of her bumping into walls and mistakes and going off on, just she's growing.
I think that's the problem with her, is that she doesn't have a clear goal in mind of what she's trying to achieve.
Right.
She's just living in the moment. Like, let me just make myself feel better right now.
So may I ask a question?
Go ahead. By all means.
It's getting hot up in here. But here's my question. Let's suppose we saw a dude going through exactly the same thing that Issa's going through.
Lawrence?
No, not Lawrence.
Exactly.
No.
He is going through the same
I'm going to break
thing.
that up in a minute. I'm going to show you. Just give me a minute, please. You ladies. Just give me a minute. Let's make Issa a dude. She's doing exactly the same thing. What would you ladies call that?
Lawrence is doing the same thing.
No.
Let's
No. I need you to focus on Issa's behavior and make her a man. And we'll get to Lawrence in a minute. I want you to focus on Issa's behavior and make her a man. And what would you say he would be doing?
I don't necessarily call men hoes or whoring, because that's kind of the expectation that a man is going to do that anyway. So you guys don't get the same standard that we get, where you a hoe and this and that. And so it's like we are looked down upon it, but you guys are congratulated for it. It's expected of you.
I said that to Ron.
So it's not the same. It's not the same. Society doesn't view the same way they would view us.
Honestly, though, who congratulates us?
Your boys,
your boys,
even another girl. If you told another woman that you have been cheated on, that you was out here getting it now, she said, "Oh, well, good for you, congratulations."
Wow, where is she?
I know some.
Oh, you,
okay.
Can I get a digit or something? I'm sorry. Just
edit that.
That was just camera work. Just for you.
That was for research.
That's all.
Okay. That was for research.
Instead. That's all. Because I'm doing a documentary.
I know some girls that would definitely say, "Good for you. I'm glad you're out here finding yourself again."
That's a good documentary too. I think we ought to really investigate that for real talk. Just get a number of women and men together to find out if this is true or not. Because I honestly believe that we are more alike than you say we are apart. Men are from Mars or Venus and all this other crap. I think that what Issa is really showing is that men and women have the same values and the same concepts when it comes to certain things, and particularly when it comes to sex. We generally are looking for the same thing. We may have different approaches at times, but I think what you're seeing with Issa is nothing uncommon. It's just a woman doing it. And what you tend to do with it as women, what you three women are doing is you are promoting Yes, you're promoting the emotional side of women and how it's looked upon and how it needs to be.
No, Ron, I don't think it's that deep. I don't think it's that deep like that. Really? I think, again, this is a phase in her life. I mean, I've been through phases of my life, and looking back now, go, whoa, what was I doing? I had to go through that because this is how I was feeling at that time.
And then
this is what I did,
phase.
and then I grew from it.
And men do the same thing.
Yeah,
men
so it's not
usually men don't. If they are whoring at age 20 and 30 and sometimes 40
and 50 and 60 in the grave.
Dang. You mean to tell me?
Hey.
She got us whoring even when we're dead. Okay. Well, anyways, for the most part then, I see men developing to more mature men after about age 35, 40.
Yes, some. It
Well,
depends.
I can't give you statistical data on it, but from what I see, generally men at around that age have matured, and they're not doing the same things that they were doing at age 20 and 30. So, to your point, I think we all go through phases, and some worse than others. I understand that. I get that. I get that she's going through some sort of phase in her life, that she's at a low point, and through that she's struggling with some things, and she decides to do the lowest of things, as opposed to, when I say lowest, I'm saying of all the layers that she could have had, she chose the bottom.
She could have become a drug addict or something.
And totally given up and not done anything.
Yeah, and the fact that she's choosing to... No, that's not...
She could have killed somebody.
Yeah, she could have.
That's low.
That's low.
That's lowest.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think the male perspective is like, you see a woman being sexually free like a man would be, and it's, oh, you are so low. You the whore. And I think that's the double standard, because a man would not be seen that way. And even with Issa and the Nico guy, how he was trying to get to know her a little bit.
Point in case.
But that's not what she was there for.
No. See how you... Masterful job.
No, that's not her purpose.
These are three educated
this is a part of her
women.
pay.
Let me tell you something.
But
guys, when you're talking to one, two, or three educated women,
Lord,
you gotta really listen, man, because I mean, she just threw something out that I know most of y'all might not have gotten. It's the way you turn that thing around.
I'm not saying
We're not excusing it. I thought she was wrong for the way she treated Nico.
Yes, she was.
But
she was
Nico
wrong.
wasn't your average guy. The very guy that you all say that we are most of the time. Nico said, no, let's slow this down.
Yeah,
exactly.
And what I'm saying
which
is...
was refreshing.
Refreshing. What I'm saying is there are more of them than you think. It's just that what you hear...
Nico was older in age too, so he
As
probably passed that bloom of youth.
Keep talking, because you all are making my case. What did I say earlier? I said earlier, just a short moment ago, I said men generally start to mature at around age 40 or so.
Given Nico is a little bit older, he's probably already had his whole phase. Issa is much younger than he is, as you can see.
Issa is in her 20s. So she's 29, something like that, not
Nico
quite 30.
had to have had a whole phase.
I'm not saying he had to have had one, but he is more settled.
As a young man, he probably has had it, and he's at the stage he probably is looking for love now. Yeah. And so we're not saying that all men are hoes. We're not saying that.
Of course, because all things can't be all. We know that. Mm-hmm. But what I'm simply saying is, here you have a guy who is the opposite of what you all claim or proclaim men to be. And he showed that. He's just said to her, and this doesn't mean he didn't want her. It just meant that, even in my relationships, and I will talk very shortly about my personal relationships, I would take on average 4 months before we have any kind of sexual
contact, encounter,
whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
I was thinking something more.
That's good, but understand that is not the norm. Even though, for some of us that is.
And mind you, Nico is somebody that's already experienced this, and Issa is this broken person who's still trying to figure things out. So they are in two completely different places in life.
I understand that she broke up.
You don't see the brokenness in her actions?
I see a woman that broke up with, after 5 years, has ended a relationship because she was hoeing. Just saying.
How was she wasn't sleeping with one guy, a hoeing? How was that?
Because she was in a committed relationship.
I get that.
So
but with the rest,
would not a man be considered hoeing if he
was in a if he made a mistake? If he's jumping from
hoeing suggests that it's a pattern.
And she has just that.
After the fact that they've already broken up.
A pattern of
her pattern is now. Let's talk about
because she has voluntarily decided to be in this phase.
Well, we have to volunteer. It's a thing that we do.
Not everybody does. Some people do it.
So
absent-minded thinking.
Is Lawrence a hoe then? Since he had his threesome,
question.
And he went right to Tasha.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Is he a hoe?
Let's talk
because
about that.
To me, it seems like
Lawrence
is trying to prove something to himself and prove something to his boys. Because you see, Chad was cheering him on. You met two girls at the store. He's trying to prove that he's not the nice guy. Lawrence has always been looked at as the nice guy, and Chad made fun of him for that. He was like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna get a 2-bedroom apartment. You need one for you and the other for your feelings."
And what does that
so
mean?
he calls him Brian
basically,
McKnight.
so no,
so
what he was basically saying,
he was trying
one
to
for
prove
your,
to himself, "No, I'm the man. I can be the man."
He said for your feelings. Now, how many men are given that? Well, yes. How many men would you say are sensitive to that, to the fact that he needs to have a whole bedroom for his feelings? So obviously, Chad knows that this is not who Lawrence is. Right. And let's get back. Same
as Issa.
Same thing.
The way they are both behaving, neither one of them are really like that. They are both going through phases. They are both trying to mask their pain.
But you do not hear Lawrence going out talking about hoeing. She's calling herself a hoe.
She called it a whole phase.
A whole phase.
It's still hoeing. The phase that you're in is a whole phase. So for that time that you're in it, you're hoeing. Come on, ladies.
And whether Issa wants to call herself a hoe or not,
like I said, Lawrence.
Well, since we're on the topic of Lawrence, he had his little app shot down this episode, episode 6. It took for him to hear it from the guys before he would actually accept the fact that
I think that was pride. It
was pride too, of course, but at the same time, the girl, Aparna, I think that's her name.
Yeah. Aparna.
Yeah, she was trying to explain to him that they weren't interested.
Well, sometimes you run into women that are very kind of straight.
But Lawrence made it seem like she was hating on him for being straightforward with her. Him.
Well, I don't know, because she seemed to know what was going on, so I don't know why she would be hating.
She'd been through it so many times before.
She'd gone through it so many times, so she knew more than he did. She was only trying to help him out from the standpoint, look, it ain't what you think it is. He, in a prideful situation, I mean, it's his work, he didn't want to hear that. And I can see it happening, but I think that maybe had she maybe approached him a little differently in telling him that, I don't think it is as much as he had to hear it from those two white guys, because frankly, he should have been able to pick that up after 3 or 4.
Once they mentioned the shoes.
Right. I mean, the moment they went down to the shoes, and even the way they said how, oh, it's great. Yeah, no, it's, and then get into his attire. That tells you something. So it was pride that kept him from listening the first time. And I think he didn't want to hear it from her. I don't think because he thought that it was a female telling him. I don't see Lawrence as in that way a chauvinist. I don't see Lawrence as that. I just think that it was his baby. It was his creation, and he wanted to make it work, and that's what I see. So when you go to the two idiots that, and he kind of saw exactly what she was saying. So it was really a confirmation as to what she was saying. And good, I say good for him that he picked it up that time.
Well, he needs to transform into Lawrence 2.0, apparently.
Yes.
And so I guess that's another phase that Lawrence is going to have to deal with professionally, just as Issa is, because even at her job, she had to confront her old ideologies of just letting the black kids into we got you, and she had to let the little Spanish kid in. And
she blocked out the issue that there was any racism involved, because essentially she was saying, well, look, okay, for once we have the upper hand, or for once it's we're giving something to our black kids, and you don't see that same thing or that same thing given to the white kid or the Hispanic kid, and she overlooked it. She didn't see, or maybe she did see the racism and didn't care.
I think that was probably it.
She was trying to meet her quota.
And she met the quota, and she wasn't concerned about black, white, blue, or green. She just needed a quota met. It was met, and they happened to be all black kids. But once she was able to listen to, who was that, the principal?
And the kid on the bus.
And the kid on the bus,
who kind of outed the principal, saying, well, no, they didn't let us into the...
Right. She had to hear that. She had to hear that.
Right.
The principal was whack.
Yeah. Right. So the last thing I want to talk about from episode 6 is Molly. Molly and Dro, they have been rendezvousing, living it up. They had a second and a third and I think a fourth encounter. They've been on a roll. And so there's the scene where Molly's in the bathtub and they have kind of just been enjoying themselves, and Dro is talking his talk about the rubber dicky, how she don't need that, she got him, and all of a sudden he gets a phone call.
Is that what that rubber dicky is? I didn't know. I didn't know.
Anywho, apparently everybody had forgotten about Candace, because it wasn't until the phone call came in that Molly's like, oh yeah, he has a wife. And he has to run off because Candace has locked herself out of the house. And I'm kind of like, Molly, what did you expect?
Yeah, she was in La La Land.
Right.
She really was.
Literally. Yeah.
And so, what do you guys think about Molly? I already expressed that I think it was a terrible idea to get involved not only with a friend, but a married friend who claims to be in an open relationship.
That is a train wreck, and she knows it. She sees it coming, but somehow. And you know what's funny? When she found out about her parents, because before that, she was good about, no, I'm not even going to go there with him. But once that happened, it was like, she felt like some betrayal and very judgmental. Again, this whole conversation we're having here, and then on this, there's a lot of judgments going on.
Yeah,
people, you know, even within the group of those 4 women.
Yes.
So Molly's judging her parents.
Sorry, did you say?
But then
did you say 4 women?
Oh, she's talking about on the show.
Okay,
on the show.
Just want to make sure.
On the show. Calm down.
But once it was like that gave her permission to go, you know, finding out about her father cheating on her mother. Like, oh, okay, well then.
So she's gonna go out and just.
That's the contradiction, though, because like you're sitting up here upset about your father for stepping outside of his marriage, but here you are going to go help this man step outside of his.
And then she's punishing her mom. She's not even taking her mom's phone calls and stuff. So I'm like, okay, you're punishing your mom, but you're giving it up to your friend. And honestly, I don't even believe. I think Joe was lying.
I think so.
A lot of things.
I think he's lying.
But
I don't think
Joe's
he's
wife and Molly, are they friends or are they just associates?
I think they're cool. I think
Probably.
they're cool. She's really friends with Dro, but I think she is cool with his wife.
Right.
Wow. So here again, what do you call that, ladies?
Molly?
Yes.
Oh, he's trying to talk about the girl code.
He's
trying to talk about the girl code, but there is a girl code, but they are not really friends.
Oh, so
they're not really.
So then the girl code, which I think we'll get into probably a little
later.
We'll
talk about the girl code after
I'm really interested in knowing this code that isn't written. I suppose
it's not written.
It's unwritten code.
It's unspoken.
Unspoken code, and you all are born with this code, correct?
Not all of us.
Not all of us.
So.
And so a lot of ladies don't adhere to the girl code. They should, but you know.
I can't wait to get into that one.
Okay.
All right, so rolling into episode 7, hella disrespectful. Issa's still pissed with Daniel, and it seems like he almost made it worse this week because he kind of made it seem like it was tit for tat. Like, oh, I guess that's payback for what you did to me.
Yeah,
and
how you made me feel.
How you made me feel?
She did not take that well.
Yeah, I mean, I think he misspoke.
I think so.
I think he misspoke. I don't think he meant it the way it came out, and she's just so sensitive about everything right now. She just went off.
Yeah, I thought that
I didn't like his apology. I don't think he had anything to apologize about.
He cares about her, so that's why he apologized. I think she overreacted. And she went off the deep end on that one. But he apologized because he values their friendship and he cares about her.
And he wants a little bit more from her. Like, he wants her to be invested in him, like he is in her.
Yes. It's funny, too, that you really don't see him hoeing around. You just, it seems like Issa is always after him. It's an interesting situation because when she speaks about her actions and her words are a little different. She talks about him in such a way that she doesn't want to be bothered, but yet she's always at his place trying to get some.
Yeah.
Well, he's in her rotation.
He's in her rotation. That's why she's at his place.
Y'all really got to explain to me what a rotation is. I mean, because
rotation, add the hoe.
I love that coin of the phrase. It was kind of brilliant.
Okay, so you said add the hoe.
Yeah.
So there is
rotation, add the hoe.
So there is
hoe
hoeing.
Is the prefix.
So there is hoeing involved.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go. There you go. I know that's what you were getting at.
Because Issa might call herself a hoe, and I know that's she's not really, and we can see that as the audience. You're supposed to use your foresight to see that that's not really what she's trying to do.
Even though
And
she's
that's
doing
not really.
Even though it's what she's doing, that's not what she's trying to be.
It's not really who she is.
She's not dedicated to that lifestyle.
I wouldn't say that. Okay, I mean, is a drug dealer really a drug dealer? Is a murderer really a murderer?
Well, wasn't Ghost really a drug dealer and a
Oh,
murderer?
you
Yes, he
wanna
was.
go
Yes. Power shout out.
We can turn this into a power format.
No.
I mean, well, I won't answer that due to the fact that Power's off season, and we'll get back to that.
We'll get back to that.
Right. And so with Lawrence, meanwhile, he's been seeing the girl from his job, and he gets the invite to this big dinner party that Tiffany is throwing for Derek. And he's kind of like, okay, I had plans to go out with how do you say her name? Annapurna. But instead, he said, like, I got to go to this party for my friend, and I don't really want to stand you up. And she's like, well, why don't you just bring me with you? And I'm like, wrong answer.
Wrong answer.
Because he told her, right? He said, my ex is going to be there.
Mm-hmm. He told her that.
She shouldn't have gone.
I would never put myself in that position.
I wouldn't either.
No.
He should have taken her to a dinner party where his ex is going to be.
Now, I happen to
and
agree
friends
with this.
that they have in common.
Mind you, those are not even their friends in common, though. Those are Issa's friends.
Yeah, Issa's friends.
That he just happens to know because of her.
Right, I was a little conflicted because I'm thinking, okay, you like this girl, but yet you tell her that you're going someplace where your ex is going to be, and you invite her.
He's trying to be straightforward with her.
Well,
just like he was with Tasha. He was trying to be straightforward and ended up digging himself in a hole.
All that's wonderful, but your ex will be there, and you are among friends that are on the other side of your relationship with Issa, and what do you expect to happen when you walk in and you walk in with this?
I think he thought it was going to be a really social gathering and not a sit-down dinner, which made it even worse.
I'm not certain, though.
Which is what he said when he came. He said, I didn't know this was going to be a sit-down.
And to me, it's probably better, because if you're in a more of a social gathering, and Issa could very well have gone over there and said, what the hell?
No,
they could have blended in.
They could have avoided each other.
Well,
because you can just mill around and talk to who you want to in a social gathering.
We've seen in past how Issa can hunt you down. I mean, if she wants to know something, she had no problem.
She didn't do that though.
Right. No, because she was in
went
that.
Out, she left.
No, because she was in the setting. So what I'm saying is the setting, I think, saved it, because she was in a more formal setting and she didn't want to show herself. So my point being is that I disagree. You don't bring sand to the beach. You don't take your newbie to no ex situation.
No, that wasn't. And I felt that he was being a little petty with that. I know they had plans afterwards and stuff, but I kind of felt like he was trying to rub it in Issa's face by bringing her. What are you talking about? He was sitting there rubbing on her shoulder in front of you. Don't do that in front of your ex.
I'm not certain.
And then in front of her friends
too. More trying to comfort.
He was trying to comfort, but he was sending a message too.
Yeah.
Because remember, he saw on Facebook the pictures of Daniel, so he knows that Issa's still talking to Daniel. Right. So he was being petty.
Yeah,
so you think he meant that from jump? So he asked her to come along because he wanted.
I mean, subconsciously. Somehow he thought maybe this isn't a good idea, but what the hell? I'm gonna bring her anyway.
Yeah. Right. There
because
you go.
After all, we're broken up, and you'll just have to deal with it.
And you know what else too? He knew that she was going to be there, but for all he knew, Daniel could have been there with her.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't know she was coming along.
Well, I know that's a better point, because he probably thought just that way. Oh, she's probably going to have Daniel with her, so let me go. Yeah, come on with me. And that way he
so I'm not here by myself.
And he
wouldn't
like
the third man out.
Right. And so and that I can buy.
Well, it was good on Issa's part because she actually brought her brother with her instead, and Molly was kind of the third wheel to Candace and Dro. So that conversation was so awkward. I'm like, what's about to happen here? And they just having all this small talk, and I'm like, is she gonna say something about the open marriage? Or I kind of wish she would have mentioned it.
I think had it gone just a minute or two longer.
That show needs to be longer.
Yeah,
30 minutes is not enough.
Yeah, I think Molly would have said something because she was extremely uncomfortable.
Yes, she was.
What do you say?
And you saw how they put her like at the head of the table.
Oh my God, yes.
Exactly.
So and they're like, what did you say? I'm not even in the conversation. Oh well,
Well, they put her out there because she also was able to observe how good Dro is with his wife.
wife.
Yeah.
Like they had a lot in common, and they were just conversing, and
she looked cute.
they looked cute, and
And
they looked.
that makes me doubt this open relationship.
Me too.
even
Right.
more,
Me
because
too.
I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
how are you having this super loving relationship, but
Yeah,
yet
yeah,
y'all
yeah.
want to see other people?
Well, even more important, if they are as close of friends as they proclaim, or Molly proclaims they are, why didn't she know that a lot sooner?
Well, I think
That
she's
they
friends
were in
with
the-
She's
Dro.
friends with Dro.
Not she's
No,
an
that's what
associate.
No, what I'm saying is,
Candace.
Dro tells Molly that he and his wife are in an open relationship, and Dro and Molly grew up together, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't Molly have known that much sooner if that were the truth?
Well, you know, it depends on who wants to disclose
Well, I mean, your best
stuff
friends.
about their.
Well, your
sex
best
life.
friends. Well, he doesn't mind doing it now. So
I mean,
why
now
wouldn't he
we all
have
they're
done it
lovers
then?
now. But the thing about that situation with Molly and Dro, you know, what makes it even more suspect, like when they go to the restroom and then they have the sex scene and stuff.
Oh,
And after that, he's like, "You hang back here, and then I'll go out." And I'm like, "You don't have to be nothing dodging if you're in an open relationship." And so I was like, "Okay."
And you can see it in her face. You know her satisfaction
As
with him.
smart as she is, and
Quickly.
she's not catching those.
No,
those
she
little
did. She did.
She caught it then. That's why she
Right.
made the decision she made at the end of the episode when she sent her a text saying, "I can't do this
This
anymore."
anymore.
We'll see if she sticks to that.
right.
She
Because
won't.
she said that before.
She said it
Exactly.
before.
And it was
Right.
after the
Right.
conversation with her mom too, where she finally got to hear her mom out. I think that confirmed to her that she shouldn't be doing what she was doing.
Right.
So
Right.
hopefully she'll stick with it, because I was ticked off with Dro. I'm like, you gonna tell me to follow you? Wait a few minutes.
Yeah.
You know what else is just really humiliating? It's like everybody's at the party.
It's protocol.
They had sex. You go, okay, you stay here and wait while I, like,
It's,
Yeah.
like she's a hoe.
Thank you. He's treating her like
That's
a
what I
hoe.
was gonna say. He did treat her like a hoe.
hello.
He did treat her like a hoe.
When
He
you
did treat her like a hoe.
you a Roman.
But Molly been in her old
When
phase.
you're hoeing,
She's a
you're
recovered
a
hoe.
hoe. Okay.
Molly's a recovered hoe. She,
Well,
you know,
We do know that.
Well,
Molly
okay,
got
go
around
to-
first season.
Go to whole alcohol or whole
she's going to therapy.
Anonymous or something.
She's going to therapy. That she was doing really
She's
well until
wasting
this
her
girl
money.
situation.
Yes.
She's wasting
She's
her
not
money.
wasting her money.
If she's
She's
going to
growing
therapy,
just
it
like
ain't
Issa.
working.
She's growing just like Issa, and
She's in therapy. She's wasting her saving money.
she's not wasting her money. She's
Saving
not
money.
wasting her money. She's gonna get over this situation eventually, and she's
Eventually,
gonna
she's
learn
gonna
from
run
it.
out of.
I think
She's
so.
gonna learn
She's
from
gonna
it.
Eventually,
learn
she's
from
gonna
it.
run out of penises, and that's
Oh,
how she's
there
gonna
you
get over it.
go.
But ultimately, she wants the same thing her parents have. So
She
she's
does.
definitely gonna.
Yeah, she's
get
going
over
about
it.
it the right way too.
Oh, here you go.
That's why she's in therapy.
She's wasting her money.
She's not wasting her money.
I
Anyone
hope
can
she's
change.
I hope
Anyone
she's
can
using
change.
tokens, because if she's paying for it,
Oh my
she's wasting her money.
goodness. My goodness.
Anyone can change. But anyway.
Oh
Yeah,
everything.
I was
will
just-
change.
Nothing
Stays the same.
Oh my goodness.
Everyone will change.
Nothing and no one goes unchanged.
You guys are funny. You guys are funny.
But you guys know what I thought was so funny about the scene afterwards is that as soon as Molly came out the bathroom, Issa was right there to greet her.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And she was straightening her up.
No judgment passed.
No
No
judgment.
judgment.
Yeah, that was beautiful too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like friends,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
They could both
At
go
the
in
end of
on
the
each
day.
other for real.
Yeah, they
Yes.
do, yeah.
They-
Because
they
she
both
checked
messed up.
Issa too, because Issa's had the tags
Oh,
going hang on her dress.
I was gonna take that
She was like,
back.
I take that back. So she was like,
You know what that remind me of?
what?
Nordstrom.
No.
Yep. You can take, Nordstrom will take it back.
Sure will.
No, the wild, what's it? National Geographic, when the monkeys are pulling bugs off each other.
Right.
That's what I.
They're grooming each other.
Yeah, grooming each other.
That's
Ooh,
so-
little bug
I love
there.
that.
You got one on me? You got
Oh my goodness.
Actually, I do see one right back there.
Right.
Y'all are killing me.
Yeah, y'all killing me. They're killing me with this.
So,
It was a gray hair. I'm sorry,
I'm
Denise.
glad-
Oh.
I'm glad
oh, shots fired.
Shots fired.
you- Right, over bow. Okay.
But what about the dust up between Issa and
Oh,
Lawrence?
I was getting there. Oh,
Oh.
Lawrence. Okay.
I kind of like that myself.
I'm sure you did.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
So they meet up outside and they kind of have this confrontation where Issa and Lawrence are talking, and the girlfriend, he kind of leaves her behind to go talk because Issa stormed out of the dinner. And so they finally get to say to each other basically what they've been wanting to say all along. Issa's like, I supported you all this time with your depressed tail, and you ain't had no money. I was supporting you.
You
and,
see how
and
low
woo,
y'all
woo.
go God, y'all.
Yeah, she was raw with it. She definitely was raw.
She
I was like, ooh.
I mean,
that was a couple times I winced at some of the things she said. I was like,
yeah. It's a little harsh.
Especially since we know what happened with his woo app at work.
Yeah.
And then she just hit him below the belt talking about
that's
yeah. Because you know,
that's kicking a dog while he's down.
That's really when he went in on her though. After she mentioned
did.
that.
And could you blame him? I mean, you know, look, ladies. And you and I have had this conversation before. Men, although we don't show our emotions as you all do, but we do get hurt. Mm-hmm. And, you know, for black men on average, and I can't speak of all black men, but on average, black men who are trying to make it, they need help. They you know, it's hard for a brother to go out and do what he has to do on a daily basis. And anybody knows if you're trying to start a business, that is not something that's going to happen overnight. In fact, sometimes in businesses, particularly when you think of design or IT type businesses, you need a lot of money, upfront money, to start. And of course, most black folks don't have that. And we don't have anybody to go to. We can't go out and get a loan. So sometimes it's a crawl. And you women who, and I'm talking about women, and I'm sure all three of you are these type of women, the upstanding women that will hold up your man in times of those situations, and you don't use those times against them when you're angry, and that's exactly what she did. Mm-hmm. You took a very low part of him, and you threw it right back at him, talking about how you were, you know, holding him up and called him all kind of, you know, lowlifes. You don't do that. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if he had any intentions of going back with her, after that, I'm done.
No, I know. I feel you on that.
Yeah,
because I was just like, ooh.
It was definitely.
I was like.
That you don't do because you weren't forced to do it. See, you could have.
But she did it because she loved him.
Exactly. And that's on my point. You did it because you loved him, and that should have been all there was to it. You didn't have to bring that into that conversation just because you were angry.
Well, she was embarrassed too. You brought this girl around me and my friends. You just parading her around like this.
Okay,
and we ain't been broke up but a minute.
But then talk about that. You know what I mean?
Also, she was already in a negative space because she had to dust up with Daniel before she even got to the party. Okay. So she already was feeling some type of way. Well, and then she gets there and he's there with a girl, and then he's stroking the girl's arm and stuff and everything. So
what else too? The woman was not black.
That's true
adds
too.
So much to it.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
if she was a sister, like okay, you know, but bad. She still would have reacted, but because
she's not black, but
she's Asian, but it's that whole other different.
Yeah.
The straight hair.
Would it have made any difference
cute light
to
skin
Issa
chick?
had it been Tasha?
It would have been a problem. Period. But the fact that that's a good point.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't even think about that.
So race plays this card. So the race card now.
See, black women, there's
as
much.
Tell me, help me out with
that. Because 2017, there was once a law against this, where black folks couldn't be with white folks and vice versa.
Sure.
So 50, 60 years later, so much has changed, and that's like not even thought of. But for a lot of African American women, when they see a brother with a white woman or it's still a little like, oh, okay. And there are some men who just exclusively will date or be with Anglo women or Asian or whatever, not African American women.
But you know what I find a lot, and it's astonishing to me because you find a lot of intelligent black women going after white men.
Yeah.
And that bothers me in the same regard. Now, look, love whom you love. I mean, no one can stop you from that. And nor am I bringing into any influence, that we should be with one race.
Right.
But, a lot of times what I hear from women is that, well, I can't find a good black man. But then what I find mostly with you all is that you have these, what I call the terrible twos. He's either too short, too fat, too broke, his car looks too bad. The terrible twos. And then you narrow, he's too young, and so you narrow your dating pool down. He's got too many babies.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Too many mama dramas, whatever. Your pool narrows down. And so the one type of man that you're looking for is a Superman type. He's 35 or 40, never married, has a good job, wonderful car, driving a BMW, looks good in the suit. He's tall.
You're making that generalization.
Yeah, you're making that because not all women
that's
think
really
like that.
kind of, what's the word?
Not all
Not
women,
offensive. I'm not calling you
come
offensive,
on
but it's a
now.
little
Sexist.
kind of sexy.
But you know, now come on, ladies. I
No,
know
you're making this
I know
generalization.
Because all of us
don't.
don't have that list.
Right.
Look, again, and I'm not saying it is all of you, but you do know women that think that way.
Some women.
A very small number.
Yeah, very small.
So then, let me get this right. So you would date a man that doesn't have a car that is about your
It
height.
depends on what age you are. Some things are acceptable for certain ages. Like, you need to have the bare necessities and be working towards something.
Okay.
You can't just
Right.
be
I
sitting
heard
on your
that.
butt crack
Right.
and playing
I heard
video
that.
games.
But
I heard that.
And you know what? No, and I agree with you. I agree with that. I agree with that. Getting right back to Lawrence and Issa. He was working towards something.
She was still trying to hold
The
it out.
first 2
with him,
years
though.
he
She
was
tried
depressed.
to wait it out.
He was out of work for like 2 years.
That's depressing.
Yeah, it is.
It's on for both people.
But the thing
Well, I
is,
agree,
I don't think
but-
he was trying to work then. He was just focusing on his app. And I'm not saying that was a bad thing. And when it failed, or he couldn't get it off the ground, that, catapulted him
But
into
as we
depression.
know, with small businesses, they fail numerous times before
but
they
you
make.
still gotta have
before
a
they get
backup.
But you
successful.
gotta have a backup.
Well, a lot of times they don't. And look,
And you can't be allowing your woman to support you, though. I mean, he could have still
Contributed
he
somehow.
still could have had a job and still been working on the app.
one of the most renowned black women in the broadcast production world, Kathy Hughes, was living out of her car with her son because her business ventures had failed until she made it, until she became successful. Now she's, if not one of the most successful black women in media.
So her man held her down?
No,
Okay,
not
that's what I'm
at
saying.
all.
So
Well,
what-
they divorced.
Okay.
They divorced.
Okay.
And she still went after her dream, and she lost everything.
But she did it, right? That's what we're saying. Like, Issa
Lawrence
was holding him down while he was working on
Issa
woo-woo.
holding him down. What, are you saying Issa enabled him? What do you mean by holding
I
him?
didn't say she enabled
She
him.
was trying
She
to
was
stick with him
supporting
through
him
the rough
and
patch.
stuff. And then he fell into depression because it didn't get off the ground. But he was not working for like 2 years. And she was paying all the bills and also supporting him. So, I mean, she should get some credit for that as well.
And you know what?
Absolutely.
But back to her affair, she wasn't. That was a part of it too. So
No, it was
here,
a part of it.
My man, here he is. He's like on the couch. It's like so.
But that's the point. It's how how she looked at it.
Yeah.
And see, and that's what drove her. Actually, I would say was probably one of the more pivotal points in her going that route, because she looked at it in a sense, I got this dead, do nothing guy, and here's this dude
Trying to, do a record, trying to
and you compare
working in
them.
the studio. Yeah.
And
Well,
you
the
compare
grass
them.
ain't always green on the other side,
Right.
and that's what I think
Right.
she's come to see.
Right.
But she has a lot of regret for what she did, and
Yes.
so when Lawrence up and called her the hoe, and you was probably messing with him the whole time and doing this, and that's
Right.
like, okay, now you dragging my name through the mud, because I actually did stick by your side. I only cheated on you with this guy once.
Well,
Right.
she said that out of anger.
He said
I mean,
that.
he said, I'm sorry, he
but
said that out of anger. After all, he'd been just kicked in the balls, so I can fully understand, that coming from him. I mean, he got his second win and he went back. I got that, but they were both wrong. I'm not, and in this case, Tiffany, you and I think are on equal playing field here. I hold him no less or more accountable than I hold Issa.
Good.
Woo.
Okay.
Waving the white flags.
But that does not mean
Is
I'm
this a
going to
truce?
be your friend. Okay? But I love the show. I really do. I love the show.
Amazing.
There's a lot of dynamics in the show that are actual, they're real, and we see it played out every day in real life.
Right.
And so those are the things about the show that I really like. The sex scenes are off the table. I don't know how you all write that in, and I mean,
Aren't they great?
Yeah, they are lit.
Well shot and everything.
No, I can't. All right, let's go. Moving on.
Yeah. So I know we briefly mentioned girl code, and that was kind of in reference to, well, we were talking about girl code anyway, but as it relates to Insecure, we were talking about with Candace and with Molly. You know, they were somewhat friends. They were associates. They could have small talk, but they weren't like tight. But usually with girl code, you should be able to know that there's an unwritten rule between women that you do not go for the other's man or the leftovers. You know, you got to have that conversation.
Okay.
And Ron and I had this conversation offline.
Yes.
Because he feels like you not talking to an ex or whatever, like you're basically not exploring an avenue. Like this person could be the one for you.
Right.
And you're not even giving it a chance because your girlfriend has moved on to someone else and stuff. And I feel like, I mean, if that's my girlfriend, I don't want to pursue her ex. I mean, I feel like I am, with my relationship with my girlfriend is more important than the guy.
It's semantics, and let me show you how. Why? You said pursue. You said go after.
It's the same thing.
Actually,
it is the same thing.
It's semantics. I'm getting there.
Okay.
Remember, I got one lane. Y'all got four. So, here we go. It may not be that you were going after him. It might be like in a situation that I believe you said happened to you one time.
Yeah.
You just happened to be in a place. It's been several years that this guy was with your best friend. You don't even remember the situation. You all meet up. He's everything. He looks the part. He seems to be the type of person that you would like to be with. You all start talking. You're having a wonderful time. And then a few words come out of his mouth that make you
realize that he was my friend's ex.
Mm-hmm.
So you did not go after him. It was just by happenstance that the two of you met and you like each other. Here is where I say the girl code.
This is where it comes into play.
No, this is where it should break down. Let me explain to you why. Because you've moved on.
Mm-hmm.
You got your boo. And you and your boo are happy.
Okay.
Why are you worried about what dude is doing with your girlfriend? And let me explain that. Because she doesn't have anybody. You moved on. I think you're being rather selfish when you say to her, oh, you did find your match, but it happens to be my ex, whom I don't want anymore.
Okay.
So what I'm simply saying is this girl code is whack because you're preventing her from possibly moving on and being happy like you. But no, you know why you have the girl code, and here's the deal. It's because you really haven't moved on.
That's not the case.
No, I'm going to tell you why. Because if you moved on, if you really moved on, and she's going to be happy with him, you say, go for it, girl.
Okay, listen, though. There's so many circumstances that come along with this question. So, let's say that Tiffany decides she's going to date my ex. It all depends on the terms that me and the ex split on. What if... Okay, but you got to understand. I don't want to go and have a cookout and I got to worry about... I can't invite Tiffany because she's going to bring such and such.
Well, why should that matter?
Because, look, what if me and that ex separated in the terms of very bad terms?
Like what?
What if we were...
Y'all are done.
No,
like
that's
what?
not the case. Let's say we
Exactly.
were about to have a child together. Let's say I lost my child or something. What if seeing him brings up hurtful memories like that?
Right.
Women, we are emotional. We internalize all those feelings. So even
y'all
a smell or seeing somebody could bring back all those memories.
Dial it down.
Listen.
Dial it down.
I don't want to see somebody that I've put behind me. What if he was abusive to me and now he's moving on to my friend?
Okay.
Well, and that's the other
There's so many things that come along with that.
Okay, let's address that. If this guy was abusive, then you're looking after her better half.
Right, but
and wait a second. Just a second.
Okay.
If he's abusive, you're looking after her better half, and you're saying that this is a dog, this is a man that's possibly going to hurt you just like he hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I get that. But what I'm saying is, you broke up on irreconcilable differences, whatever that is. You both come to the conclusion that we're not for each other. Okay, we're just not. We're not for each other, and you've moved on. Years has passed.
Exactly.
You got your boo. Girlfriend hooks up with.
Wrong.
You don't think
You're
that
not,
would be
you're
awkward?
not getting it.
I thought about that. I was like, because this is my best friend. This is her ex. What if I want to double date? I'm gonna be double dating with her ex. I mean, that's uncomfortable. And then when you start thinking about intimacy too, your friend has been intimate with this man.
And there's your problem. Y'all think too much. Y'all think way too much. And that's what I mean. You start narrowing your dating pools because you all have all this pent up stuff. You know what? You're garbage collectors. Y'all don't just let the look. Take the trash bin and empty it.
Get them, Carol. Get them, Carol.
So I had an experience.
Mm-hmm.
I was dating somebody, and we broke up. And how it happened is he just got real distant. Okay. Just really, just like
before you broke up, or
before leading up to, and then just like, not like okay. So I said, okay, that's that. Okay. I guess we're done. Mm-hmm. But it still hurt.
Yeah.
So I have the group of female friends, and two of them who knew all about the circumstance, who had met this man, who saw me talking about him a lot, and then it's like, wow, it's over. Okay, very painful. Okay. So about not quite 2 years later, not quite, one of my girlfriends said, hey, just a heads up. Girlfriend B, I don't want to have any names, met your friend on a site, on a dating site.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. And they actually went on a date. But I didn't hear it from the girlfriend who went on the date with this ex of mine. I heard it from my other girlfriend. But what she told me is, she said, I had a talk with her. And I said, that's not right. Because you know Carol. You're friends with Carol. You saw her talk about this man. She cared about this man. And then you're just going to like go on and
with somebody who was serious. Somebody, this wasn't a fling. This was a real relationship.
Yeah. And the one who went out with my ex said, well, and by the way, this woman had a lot of issues with a lot of kind of serial dating with men and just a lot of, anyway. She kind of didn't get it at first. And my girlfriend said, I had to tell her again, do you not understand why this is not cool? And why this is not just... And so after talking for a little bit, she's like, okay, yeah, maybe that's... And so, Okay. And but the other thing is, it wouldn't have gone anywhere anyway, because they just were not kind of suited for each other. Okay. But that was a kind of real-world example of why that so-called code that I think you're kind of dismissive of
it's a girl code.
Really... and every circumstance is different. Because like you said, you could have a circumstance where, if this man's beat me up every day and I kick him to the curb, then, I'm going to tell my girlfriend, I don't think you should be dating him. He's not going to be good for you. But it's not so cookie cutter, black and white.
Right.
It's you need to move on. You girls need to whatever.
Two things. You just said it. It isn't cookie cutter, black or white. But the girl code is. Okay? Number one. Number two, be perfectly honest. You didn't have closure with this guy.
It's a violation.
Tiffany, wait a second.
No.
We can get to that. I want her answer, Tiffany. Hold up. Did you have closure? Stop. You know what? This is what y'all do. Y'all are so masterful at this game.
This is her homie.
I'm getting in. I got it. I hit a button. And you don't want that button exposed. Go for it, girl, because I know what you're doing.
First of all,
you go for it.
That woman, if that is her girl, if I know that my girl was in love with this man and she was involved with him for some years and everything, I'm not going to date this man because I knew how much this man meant to my friend.
Got it.
And she should have thought about how
that would make her feel.
How to make her feel.
I got you. I got that. That's why I said the girl code.
Let you finish.
No. But let me ask again my question. Yes, since I'm so square,
sorry.
I'm gonna ask again.
I'm protective of Carol. This is my dear friend.
She's my BF too. So let me ask again. Did you? And I'm not a lawyer. Did you?
Senator,
have closure?
President, you have sex with that woman, Mr. President.
I didn't have sex with that woman.
I know where he's going with this question. That's why I cut him off.
I know you did. Right off the bat. Cut me down. I mean, y'all know how to go for that juggler, boy. Am I bleeding? So, did you have closure?
That's a good question.
The answer is,
ultimately, yes. But at that point, no.
No, honestly, you didn't have closure.
At that point, no.
and therein lies what I said to you. I said,
I knew he was going there.
Yes, because usually, and it's even with men. Men do this too sometimes. But typically, and it may not happen often, but typically, if there is closure, complete closure, and this person that is dating your friend is not a bad guy, isn't a monster, chances are you'll say, okay.
No. Closure or not, once that person is out of my life, I don't want them back in under any circumstance, whether I see you on the street or whether my best friend is dating you. Which,
Really?
by the way, is if
Is
your
it that
friend
bad?
is dating somebody that you have been with, that's not your friend in the first place.
Have you ever dated someone, broke up, and remained friends?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
There's
I've-
something
I've-
being
and
becoming
the
friends
fact-
after a
Yeah.
relationship.
Yes.
And the fact that you remain friends is because the person wasn't a bad person,
Or
correct?
no, maybe you just figured out that you could part on mutual terms and just say, this ain't for us.
Let me iterate. He's not a bad person, correct?
I never said it doesn't have to do with being bad or
Yes
good.
or no? Is he a bad person?
No, nobody's.
Okay, so he's not a bad person.
Okay.
So, if he happens to meet your girlfriend,
Okay.
okay, and the two of them are happy, and you can
No.
let me.
Her girlfriend should not be happy with her
Thank
ex.
you. No.
Okay, so
Because if that's my girlfriend and I am confiding in you, let's say while me and this guy are still together, I'm confiding in you, I'm crying on your shoulder, we going through something.
but that's
You
what
know.
happens. That's a circumstance.
Okay,
That's a
but I'm
circumstance.
just saying that's what happens.
But let's say
When
that,
you
let's
talk,
say
when
that,
you are with somebody and you going through something with somebody, you crying on their shoulder, you telling them the story.
There's so many people out there. Why do you have to go out with your exes?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, but
Next topic.
But again, what I said earlier, you're not pursuing it. It just happens.
Okay, but that's when you're supposed to use your intuition and say, look, I already know that such and such is my girl. She would
That's what
not
I
be
did.
happy with this.
That's what I did. He told me that I possibly, cut off someone who could have been my happily ever after. But from the gate, as soon as I realized who he was, I
Did it.
You shut it down.
shut it down.
Okay, bravo. And you know what? You deserve a medal. The problem is you could have shut off somebody that was meant for you.
Okay, let's flip the script then.
Uh-oh.
Let's say one of your best friends
Oh yeah, let's do that.
start messing around with your ex.
I asked him
She
that
asked
too.
that question. Okay. And this is, again,
You and your friend having family dinner. He invite her over here
but
to
that's
your house. and
look, if we
got your
had
kids
if we
around.
had a mutual breakup, and as I said, she's not a bad person, and a friend of mine, years later comes up to me, or I see them out together. Okay, the initial shock would be, oh, but it's only initial shock because I wouldn't expect to see you together. But I would then approach my friend and say, like, what's up with this? Now,
you have a
hold up.
suggesting that you have a problem, right?
No, I don't. What I'm suggesting is, what are your intentions? Because even though we've broken up, if we broke up on a mutual term and I still feel as though she's a friend of mine, I'm always going to be protective of her. So, friend, is this something that you are seriously going to get into, or is this just a thing? It's just a notch on your belt. If it's a thing, then yeah, we're going to have problems because I don't want you to hurt her. But if you're telling me that this is the woman that you think, that you can spend the rest of your life with, or, the two of you are serious because you're very compatible and you just want to see it work out, hey, go for it.
That sounds good.
That's admirable, but I don't believe all men think like you.
No, all men don't. But I would never, again, nothing's 100%. So all men don't think like me. And there are any number of reasons why. And yes, there are some men that act just like women with this so-called girl code. But what I'm trying to say with this girl code is that you have to amend it.
Okay.
It can't just be black and white. That's all I'm saying.
Let's talk about the other side of this. On the flip side of the coin, let's say that me and Tiffany, we friends, and she's dating my ex, and I have my own man here, and I'm like, okay, Tiff, we're going to go out. We're going to have dinner at my house, and you bring in my ex to dinner with my new man. You don't think my new man going to have a problem with the fact that my ex sitting across the table from him?
Do you see the possessiveness
Right.
in this?
Right.
Do you see the possessiveness in this?
But
I am, you
he
brought,
probably would be bothered.
you
Like,
brought
who's
your
this?
ex, and here I have my new man, which meaning the
We
ex
could
is
be
my
married.
old
We
man.
could be whatever. We could be I'm just saying.
Why would he have a problem if there is no problem?
Because it's the point that some men like to have that pride that, oh.
No, here's the problem.
I had your girl,
when
bro.
I see you flashing your little
that
pretty
used to be
eyelashes
me.
at the ex, you know, when I see you looking a little harder at the ex that you should be, there may be a problem.
You going to dinner with your wife's ex?
Yeah, I would. Sure.
He would feel some type of way because the thing is, that man had been there before you. So he would feel some type of way sitting across from this man.
We know men are territorial.
Yeah, they are.
So are women. You just said my man. You own him.
Doggone right, because if he tried to bring me to dinner with his ex, we having a problem.
But isn't that territorial?
I can own it. I know myself, but it's not going down.
Right.
It's not happening.
I heard that.
So we could dead that right there.
I think y'all can tone it down.
I don't think so.
Has there ever been a situation that you are aware of where an ex met the friend
and everybody just hunky-dory
and everybody got along?
Nope.
Has that ever? Do you know of any?
Not unless there are children involved, then you doing it for the sake of the kids.
Well, I mean, whether it's children or not, I don't see why.
But I don't see why you still need to have any involvement with somebody.
It's not a need.
Like that.
It's a happenstance. I'm saying now. I agree with you. If your girlfriend is going after your ex, she's only going after him because she already knows through the conversations you've had, through intimate.
Okay, so it just happens to happen. Either way, she already knows my feelings on the situation.
Right.
Why even put our friendship in jeopardy like that?
Exactly. That's how I feel.
Because this man could be here for 5 minutes. Our friendship is ruined because you wanted to date my ex for 5 minutes.
So what do you see? And what do you see? So let's get a scenario. Let's get a scenario going on. She's dating your ex, and she calls you up and say, "We about to go to this party, whatever. Let's double date." And you say, "Okay, cool, no problem." You get your man. The two of you go out, or 4 of you go out. What's the problem?
I think you just said what the problem is.
No. You said a bunch of things, but in this scenario, he is doing his thing with your ex, and you are doing your thing with your newbie. What's the problem?
The problem is I'm not trying to bring the past into my present.
It's not your past anymore. It's done. It's over. It's gone.
It's still my past because you can't erase people out your life.
You can't change your
past. You know what that means? Then you're not done with it.
You are done with it. I could hate your guts. I could not want to see you. Why do I need you in my face?
Because you hate his guts. Absolutely. That's a scenario. That's a happenstance. That's a circumstance.
Okay, even if we were cool and we ended on great terms, I still don't want you involved in my lifestyle. Now you
He's not involved in your life.
Look,
y'all just happen to be
he's going on a double date with
you.
You don't have to double date. You could say no. But my point being is, it's just that one date. You all make it sound like they're shacking up together. Y'all in an apartment. It's sharing all 4 of you living together.
No,
kumbaya.
But if you are best friends, you're gonna have frequent outings and things like that. Maybe even trips.
But he's cool. You're cool. Everybody's cool.
Well, there's some circumstances. Some people. Yeah, we're just saying for us, the girl code.
And then there's always some exes that want that old thing back.
That's
true. And therein lies the problem because, as I said, the problem is that you're not through. Or there's a thought pattern that says, oh, he probably wants her back, or she probably wants him back. It's how you think that causes the complications that may arise in that type of situation.
Thank you.
And so what you're basically saying to me then, let me see if I get this right.
What did you just say? Complications.
Possible.
So why add complications when you've already moved on?
Possible complications. It doesn't say that it's going to happen. It just says
very high possibility.
Very
high.
On whose part?
On anybody's part. You don't know what your ex is thinking in his head. You don't know what the motives of your friend is. The fact that she would even consider that already got me looking at her sideways.
Right.
So that's a complication.
It's a complication.
Well, that is a complication.
Okay,
but suppose it doesn't happen.
Well, then, congratulations.
So then it works. If it doesn't happen, it works, right?
I mean, look.
If it doesn't happen, it works. Is that what I hear you saying?
No.
Oh.
Because you still should not be going backwards to somebody that I've already been with.
She's not going backwards. She's headed forward.
Look.
It's just that you are reliving
and then
something in the past.
Let me say something else. If my friend decides to go out with somebody that I've been with, that also brings up into question, were you plotting on this person when I was with
them? I told you that was going to come up.
But again, that's where the trash compactor comes in. You all don't empty that thing.
No.
You just keep piling the trash in.
Look, then we
I'm
just talk
sorry,
about.
wait a minute. Can I give a real life example? You're talking about men don't think that way.
I didn't say
Jamie
that.
Foxx
I did not
is
say
dating
that.
Katie Holmes
I did
right
not.
now. He's been dating her for 4 years,
Tiffany,
and he's been keeping it on the
Tiffany.
low. Be quiet. Let me finish. He's been dating her for 4 years,
She's
and you know why
masterful.
they kept it quiet? Because Jamie was friends with Tom Cruise. He cared about what Tom Cruise felt. And I read somewhere that Tom Cruise right now feels betrayed by his friend Jamie because he's seeing his ex-wife.
And I
So
said,
don't tell me that men don't think like
well,
that.
I didn't. In fact, I told you earlier. See, this is how you all do. You jump lanes on me, and then you want to give this factual. But the fact is, I said earlier that there are some men that believe the same thing. I said that. So take it back, because I've already told you. I said that.
You know what else, Ron, too? I'm
man.
listening to your conversation, and a lot of, I think the equation you're leaving out a lot of times is human nature.
Thank you.
And when we talk about this trash compactor, what is
Yes.
that? Whatever you say, it's feelings. It's like
Exactly.
they're irrational and they're crazy, and something that happened 10 years ago, you thought you were over. You see that person like, oh my God, damn, why do I still get angry? Why do I still react?
Because you're not through.
But no, Ron, it's not even about,
you're
okay,
not
it's
done.
2017, I'm going to be through with this at 5 o'clock
And when you see
on
him?
November 5th. No, it's, we are human beings.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where, when we talk about being judgmental, again, we get judgmental when we say they should behave a certain way. Now, with this friend of mine, okay, I found myself having to pray a lot for this woman's happiness at the end of the day, because I did have some resentful feelings towards her. But I got over that. And I realized again, let me look at myself. Let me look at what I need to change, what I need to expand, what I need to grow to have compassion for this woman's life. You know, the one who was interested in seeing my ex. So I always, this is just me, I bring it back to me. Like, yeah, I'm not going to, whatever the trip is, whatever's going on, okay, I'm mad, but what do I need to do? What do I need to look at? What do I need to change? What do I need to let go of? Whatever it is, I'm going to take responsibility for my happiness. And I find the more I try to do that, the less heartache and headache and drama there is.
Absolutely. And, thank you for verifying me and clarifying everything that I have said from the point we started with this
Actually,
conversation.
she didn't.
Yeah,
Actually, she didn't.
Actually,
she
she did.
exposed you.
No, actually not, because you just said.
She did.
You just
you
said,
see things as black and white.
Carol,
and she said
Carol,
so eloquently.
Carol very eloquently said, as she looks more into herself, and as she sees the ugliness that she had literally projected out on this woman, and as she gets more into herself,
I'll call it negativity.
Negativity, okay. As she sees, she gets
Ugliness,
more into
please.
herself, she's able to let it go some.
Adjective.
You actually said that you're able. Very good. I should have been a lawyer. I really should have.
Bro, I don't think he's going to win this one. This is girl code for a reason.
No, I haven't. No, absolutely. I'm not going to win this. I know when I'm losing, and I'm no fool. But hey, since I'm losing, I might as well have fun doing it, right? Okay, so
Smart.
hey, but anyways.
I feel like we could go on and on about this forever.
We can. We certainly
But you
can.
guys that have been watching, make sure you drop your comments and let us know how you felt about Insecure episodes 6 and 7. Let us know how you felt about our girl code conversation.
Or Insecure.
It all meshes in together almost. And then, of course, tonight is the season finale of Insecure. So make sure you tune in for that. And I'm sure we'll be back again to have another lively discussion about episode 8.
And Carol, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
And,
That's
having
fun.
this very electric conversation about
Thank you.
girl code and Insecure. You picked the right person to ask to come
That's
on.
right.
And,
I
Yes,
appreciate
you
her
know,
hey,
perspective.
give me some. Listen, girl.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like you, but
Well, I'm glad Carol was here too to confirm what we were saying and just to lay it down in the line so elaborately for you, Ron.
Yeah.
Even though you tried to flip it.
She had to school on one time.
Whatever.
Well, you guys out there, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be having more real talk discussions, and you feel free to drop your topic suggestions for us, anything you want to talk us to talk about, or if you would like to be invited to the show to talk with us about them. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, and we are also on Facebook at The Spot Real Talk. And until next time, we'll see you when we come back to recap another show. All right, good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Trip.
Show me, show